Check. Hello, and welcome to this second Stockholm Hardware meetup event. I am amazed with how many people we're able to pack in the corners and the lines. As I mentioned before, we do have some space downstairs with chairs. And we're streaming both sound and video from up here to downstairs. So it is a pretty comfortable place to sit. So you could either go there now, or if you feel tired, 15 minutes from now from standing, you can walk down there. Cool. We have a lot of really exciting talks for you tonight. And we also have a full house. We have about 14 people. Here's a selection of them. And it's going to be hard to keep it all within the time that we've talked about. But we are going to try to really encourage our speakers to keep to the time limits. So don't feel like we're offending them when we kind of rush them to finish up. So some of you may have, how many, by show of hands, how many were here a month ago for the first Stockholm Hardware event? Okay, very exciting. So this, I would say maybe 20%. So a lot of new people that are joining our community. So that is very exciting.
Sorry, Simone, the sound isn't going downstairs for some reason.
Uh-oh.
It went down perfectly just 5 minutes ago, but now there's just music.
Aha. Okay, it's probably because I turned down the volume for you. Can you turn it up until it goes red on that one? I think it's good now. Thanks. Come back up if it's not working out well. That leads me to another point. Today we're trying out video capture and live streaming. So we're actually on. Let's see if I can find a slide for that. Yep. Here we go. So we're streaming on YouTube. We haven't announced it because we didn't want anyone to kind of rely on it, but we're testing it out and see how it goes. The plan is, of course, to keep the content from these events, so the speakers, both for the main talks and for the both for the main talks and for the lightning talks, so that people who cannot attend or live further away from Stockholm can also enjoy all this amazing content that we have. Let's see. Cool. Here's what the agenda looks like. I'm going to try to talk as little as possible. But while I remember, I should call out that there are bathrooms just out here. There's 2 on the top. They're just, out here. Then, in addition, we have another 2 toilets in the basement. So 2 floors down in the other direction, the makerspace. And that's all I got for logistics. Cool. We have 4 talks, 4 main talks. Simone is going to come up and show us her latest machine. Ellen will talk about some of her favorite development boards. Per is going to come and talk about some of the projects that he's been on. And Lasse from Prototail will also come and show some of the physical products that they've been working on.
It's not sharing the screen on the live stream, so I don't know why. But
What are you seeing?
I'm just seeing the first slide. I'm seeing this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No?
Let's try that.
I'll
jump on the troubleshooting as soon as I'm done with the introductions. So bear with us as we're trying out this amazing new technology. So after these 4 main talks, which is about 10-15 minutes each, so that'll take about an hour, we're going to do a break, 15 minutes, so pretty short. That's a good opportunity to run downstairs or go from upstairs to upstairs. Then we have about 45 minutes of lightning talks. And we have, I think at the moment, it looks like we have 9 speakers, so that's a lot. And each lightning talk is intended to be very short, to the point, about 3 to 5 minutes. And then we wrap up. Also, we have the 2 guys from Stockholm Makerspace that are going to give a tour at the end. They're downstairs. Right. So if you want a tour for Stockholm Makerspace, you can get that afterwards. I already mentioned that we're streaming on YouTube. And here's the lightning talk. Just that we had a conversation as we were getting started about how many actually are familiar with this notion of lightning talks, which I think maybe is kind of very particular type of communities and conferences. But the idea is that you, in a very short and condensed format, give an introduction to one topic. So the idea is it needs to be less of a barrier to make a presentation. So instead of feeling like you need to get on stage, you need to present, like you need to prepare a presentation, the idea is that you should be able to easily volunteer up to do a lightning talk. So this is the first time that we're trying it out. We're planning to do it in the future. And we would love for all of you guys to be part of the lightning talks. So both tonight and for our next event, either reach out ahead of time or just shout out when the event is happening, and we'll try to slot you in for a short lightning talk. You don't need to have a presentation. You can have. You don't need to. You may have like some kind of tangible thing you want to show, or maybe just do a dance or whatever you're up to. But we'll cap you at 5 minutes, so that's how long you get. Cool. Here are all the amazing people that we're going to be talking to tonight. Brief mention of Stockholm things. How many are here for the first time? Wow, amazing. More than half. I would say 2/3. So Things is a co-working space for startups focused on hardware and Internet of Things. So it is very related to what we do with our meetup. However, the meetup is not run by or owned by Things. So this is something that 6 of us are organizing together, and I'm just one of the co-organizers. Maybe you could briefly show your raise by hands. And Carl is maybe downstairs. Cool. So thanks to Things for wraps and beer, and I think the beer is out. So we have another couple of boxes in the fridge, so we'll take that out by the break. Eric, or anyone from Stockholm Makerspace, do you want to talk about something Stockholm Makerspace, or should I just talk to the fact that you have already been doing some tours before we started the event, and there will be another tour at the end of the event? Cool. Eric is the main man for Stockholm Makerspace. Hi, Eric. Okay. And we actually had you up here last time also, but you've got even more news about this fantastic Megaresan.
Yes. So hello everybody, great to be here again. My name is Åsa Moum, and together with Marie-Claire Maxwell I initiated Makeresan. And today we're continuing our efforts to bridge the gap between Sweden and Shenzhen to help Swedish startups and makers to get their products out on the market. So we are launching a Maker in Residence at STHLMHW Makerspace, part of Seed Studio in Shenzhen. So you'll get some funding, you get air tickets, you get a workshop in STHLMHW, free access to tools and guides, so you'll basically learn everything you need about electronics in Shenzhen. So if you're a maker, or if you're working at a hardware startup, or if you want to work at a hardware startup in the future, this is where you should be. It's the best crash course in hardware, I think. So you can contact me if you want to apply, or you'll find information on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. Thanks.
Very nice. And I think Carl, maybe Carl is downstairs, so he's probably running up here to make the next event or make the next announcement. Meanwhile, I'll just mention, so this is our abbreviation for this meetup, Stockholm Hardware. If you are interested in, or you know somebody who would be interested in helping out for Stockholm Hardware, in particular with running some of the digital stuff, so making sure the website looks a little bit better, has some better content on it, and that we get to be a little bit more active in social media, please reach out to us, me in particular, or anyone in the group, because we'd like some additional help. It's all pro bono, so there's no money, but if you're interested in hardware, that would be a good place to be. Carl, you're up next, and then I'll try to fix that stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, my team will go.
Do you want to go up now?
Yeah, yeah. No, Anna and Simone and Murilo. And I will fix the technical
If anyone is listening downstairs, I have been spending some late nights on trying to get this streaming setup to work, and I obviously have not done the best job possible. But right, so this is why we need Thank you. Well, I'll accept that if I get it to work. But as soon as we're done with the intros and we start the first talk, I'll jump on trying to make sure that it works. Did you want your presentation up?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I know where it is.
It's in a folder on desktop.
So, yeah, but as Carl tries to find out, hey everyone, I'm Anna. I'm working at Quirkbot as communication and project manager.
I'm Simon, and I represent both Kid Hacks Day and FabTop, a 3D printing company that's here in Things.
And I'm Murilu. I'm all over the place. Kids Hack Day, Strawbees, Quirkbot.
Some exciting stuff, we think. We really like to make stuff and prototype things. So with this in mind, we want to invite you as for Kids Hack Day as inspiration. That's a weekly thing here downstairs every Tuesday. So here's some of the inspiring stuff that has been made. We want to invite you to join us as grown-up kids, because I guess a lot of you out there want to join us for making great stuff. So the 21st of March, we will have our first meeting, monthly meetup. Here are sponsors that will join us, and we will also have Make It Shay. Where are you? You're down there. That will also join us, because of course we want both grown-up boys and grown-up girls to join us for this meetup. So I guess that's it, right?
Yeah, I think we already have like 25 grown-up kids in the group.
Yeah. So we want more grown-up kids. So come and join us. So see you.
Whoa. Code, yeah. There's some good stuff coming up. That's right. You're looking forward to that, aren't you? That's Ellen's stuff. Okay. Simone.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up first?
Hey. Don't clap your hands. I have a much better way of doing this. Hi, everybody. My name is Simone, and I know some of you, and some of you might know of me because I run a YouTube channel about robotics. And the internet has kind of given me the title, the Queen of Shitty Robots. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, really? But now I'm like, heck yeah, I love that title. And yeah, I done... Suna, do you have the video for that? Maybe it's here on the slide. Could you... Yeah, just I have like one little thing I did. I've done a toothbrush helmet. I programmed a robot arm to feed me breakfast. I did a chopping machine that chopped vegetables in a very horrible way. And I did an alarm clock that wakes me up by slapping me in the face. That's what we have here. And it's pretty crazy. This has actually become my job. I run, yeah. I realize, oh, nice, ear. I wonder whose computer that was. Oh yeah, here we have some audio. This is me in all of my glory. But I actually released a new project today, and I brought it here to show you guys, so you get a little bit of a, I don't know, not a preview because I already published it, but almost. Soon, would you mind holding this for me? Oh yeah.
You can, maybe you can grab this if you want. No, you're good.
I like how you're standing on your knees. This. Oh yeah. this makes me feel even more like the queen of shitty robots because I just have this knight who's waiting. Okay, so basically the machine is called the applause machine. And the idea went along the ways of like, I was at a conference and I had to clap my hands a lot and it hurt-ish. And I was like, there must be a better way. And ta-da! I felt very awkward traveling with this on the subway. People gave me some very weird looks. But here we have snarky slow clap, so it has speed control. And then you can adjust the speed and go all the way up to breakneck speed. You may clap now. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, you can put it down now. I can put it down. It obviously has some work to do on the audio quality of it because I don't know what it sounds like. It doesn't really sound like someone clapping, but I think it's more the visual part of it that just really gets to me. Yeah. Now I was wondering, do you have time for questions, or are we just going? No, we're done at 20 questions.
One quick question.
Oh, one quick question, a yes or no question. Shoot. Okay. Oh yeah, there we have somebody. Do I go commercial with them? Yes and no question. No. But grab me afterwards if you want to talk. I like talking. Okay, thank you.
My presentation is on.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah,
You know where to
it's
get?
on the desk. Yeah, it's actually in Keynote. Yep. No, go from the top.
Here's a clicker. You want to go sideways. Okay.
Alrighty. How to follow up on that? My job is not nearly as exciting, I think. And I'm not the queen or king of anything yet. Yes. But my name is Per. I'm a co-founder and designer at People. We're a Stockholm design studio right in the middle of Stockholm. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our view on prototyping and how I use that in my daily work and stuff about prototyping basically. For those who doesn't know anything about us, we do a lot of emerging tech design basically. We help startups as well as bigger companies to design the right product for their customers basically. We have a satellite office as a trial in Shenzhen, actually, as well, speaking of which. That is set up in order to better cater to the development, the fast development over there and help startups to reach manufacturing quicker and so on. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. So this is some of the Swedish startups that we've helped so far. Maybe you guys know Flick. They used to sit here. Now they're in another house nearby over there. Really cool product. This is a small Bluetooth button that can do basically anything you want. And this, maybe some of you know, it's a small wearable camera called Narrative. Which is a quite famous Swedish startup. It's a live logging camera. It takes 2 pictures every minute. So right now you're all on a few from this one. And this is another startup that's launching soon, and it's a digital pin. And I'll get to that a little bit more in just a while. But I'm going to talk specifically a little bit about the Narrative clip prototyping process, because I was the industrial designer in that project, and I'm going to dive a little bit behind the scenes to show you a little bit along the way how prototyping was really essential in order to make this product happen in the best way. this here is a view of the very first prototype that we made, which is basically strapping on one of these, the only sort of existing life logging solution that was out there prior to the narrative. This is a sort of helping tool for people with Alzheimer's to help remember better. So it's a big chunky thing that we got, and I strapped it to my shirt and I walked around for a bit. And it's basically to test the user experience and to understand what the product's going to be like. And this stage shows in a way that prototyping is so important in different ways and in different stages. So at first, try to understand what the product does and just test the functionality and see if it sort of flies. And yeah, these are pictures from that particular study from my normal workday. And then we went on to concept generation and tried out a lot of different design directions based on sort of the functionality studies and everything. And I actually brought some real samples that you can come to me after this talk, and I'll show you some of these things IRL. Let's see. Okay. So, yeah.
Just let everybody know that the live streaming is working downstairs. So if you feel like it's tough to stand or
Sorry.
too hot, you can go after.
What was that?
Could you just tell everybody that live streaming is working downstairs now?
Okay, live streaming is apparently working downstairs.
Woo!
A message from Sune. Hell yeah. Good one. Let me see if this works. I'm gonna try and do a little thing another magic trick that Sune taught me. This is basically the first stage of rough prototyping right here. And we have a very simple printer in our office that just prints plastic, basically, a 3D printer, the most basic version of it. And we do a lot of these different type of prints during a process just to see form factors, see form development, size, and like try to, understand basically what the design is about, what the product is. And let's see how I switch back to this. And then as soon as possible, we try to go into a stage of, combining digital prototyping in terms of renderings together with physical real-life prototyping. And in this particular case, this is another early example. We did a lot of user evaluations of which form factor worked best in combination with some physical representations of those. And this is like really just form, basically. So it's nothing inside of the prototypes at this stage. And then you go into the next stage of prototyping, where you actually decide on the industrial design, and you have developed the functionality and the electronics to a point where you can actually start printing more high resolution prototypes. So the one you see right here is an SLA print, which is a really good technology in order to get high resolution prints, and they can have different properties to them. Like some of them can be a bit brittle and stuff like that, but then there are currently some really good versions of these prints that really resembles ABS plastic. So it's a really useful tool for us to try out the construction of a design, and you can get to a very fine detail. You can get like the same properties as if you would injection mold the actual part. So this is very useful for putting the electronics inside and basically evaluating if the construction is good for assembly and so on. Right. And yeah, and I have a lot of different versions of these narrative prototypes up here that you can, yeah, just come to me and ask later, and I'll try to explain what the different types of prints are useful for in different stages of this development. And I'm really quickly gonna go into talking a little bit about prototyping physically and digitally together in the process, because these days most products has a digital interface of some sort, and it's really useful to be able to, in the same way as we make a physical prototype, and it's getting ever more accessible for us to make like a prototype that looks just like the final thing. And obviously we in this design process we develop the digital interface and prototype it as if it also was the final thing. And in this particular project, which is this digital pin, which is launching soon, is actually a very current project, because Olof, the entrepreneur behind this project, is gonna send in the Kickstarter campaign tonight. So it's really interesting. I really think this is gonna be a big thing on Kickstarter, and if it goes well, it's gonna launch 1st of March. So keep a lookout. But it's really useful to actually to get to try out the app functionality and to really test all the user flows as if it was a real application. And this is a really good example where the industrial design and the app design has come to the same level of maturity. So this product is basically ready for Kickstarter or any type of investment or going to a manufacturing stage. Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. And obviously, being able to render products as if they were already real is a tool that we use all the time. So this is an example of a pair of headphones that we just make digitally and put in a real environment, and can really evaluate a design before it actually exists. So these are tools that let us try out the design in advance, basically. And I see that I'm out of time.
We said it well, we got a few minutes.
Cool. I'm just going to skip through a little bit and show you a little bit, the behind the scenes of this kind of tools for actually trying out the digital app in advance. And this is a tool developed by our partner company Top, which is it's called Noodle, and it's a prototype tool for digital and physical IoT experiences, which is a really simple node-based interface, and you can connect sort of physical IoT stuff with an interface and a programming interface. So it's a fast way for us to work with the physical and digital experience in parallel like that. So, in the same way, they made this Samsung Gear S2, I believe, interface. We didn't actually design this watch, but it's a quite big, well-known wearable by now, I think, and it's kind of cool to just see behind the scenes how they work with actually evaluating the interface together with a smartphone and a watch interface that they program. So yeah, that's all I have. I think I can just a final word is to really encourage you, no matter what, if you're a designer or an entrepreneur or a developer, that you should prototype really often and do it No matter if you don't have the skills or the tools, just make it by paper. We do that in our studio all the time still. Prototype 10 times more than you think, basically. And at all stages of the process. Thank you.
Very nice. So, Per, how annoying was this iPad countdown timer that we set up?
Yeah, it was super annoying. But it was pretty good. Yeah,
I didn't have to say a thing. Exactly. But yeah, I recognize that it is a little stressful.
It did your job, actually.
Yeah, no, that's right. And it's not the most pleasant part of my job either. So, yeah, thanks for that. And I realize we're cutting it a little short.
No worries.
Do we need to open some more windows, or is there how? Could some of you guys that are on the side maybe open up a window if it's not too cold? Okay, great. So I didn't mean to have you guys all clap at the success of the live stream finally working. I just meant to say there is space downstairs, and if it's too hot or you don't have anywhere to sit, downstairs is fairly operational. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Next up, Ellen. Let's welcome Ellen to the floor.
Thank you. Well, I'm here as a developer and I love circuits. I run my own company called Coda Collective, where I actually connect electronics to the internet and build machines that you can control over the internet. That's often the inquiry I get. But today I'm going to talk about the love of my life, circuits. And it's been a long story. 10 years. I started with the basic stamp. And for some people, this might be a bit, you might not be used to some of the terms. And I think you can look it up if you wonder or speak to me afterwards. But basically, when I prototype, I use these kind of open hardware developer platforms. And it started quite early. My background is in web development. And when I realized that I could control the world with my code on a circuit board, I was hooked. And nowadays I work with it. But it's been a long journey to get there, to get web and electronics to meet. And I started off with Arduino, first basic stamp and then Arduino. And Arduino, I think it's a great community and you can find a lot of boards. But in the early stage, I found Arduino with an Ethernet port. That was obviously my first connection to the internet and circuit boards. And I wanted to be like wireless. So the next part was to get all these bulky shields for my Arduino with a big antenna. And then I had a good experience with Rugged Circuits, a yellow jacket board, where I actually had a Wi-Fi card on top of it. But the space was an issue. I couldn't fit in my code, and TCP worked quite good, but UDP didn't. And then I found the board Arduino Yun, which has Linux and Arduino squashed into the same board. And I used this in a number of projects, and I prototyped it as well. So I used it to connect graveyards in Sweden, so you could control lights on All Saints weekend. So 4 graveyards had each one an Arduino Yun with an internal Wi-Fi to control lights and also to be able to report back to me how the installation was going. But still, it had some kind of, it was big and it still had some space issues. If you're running Linux, you can't really actually, like I use Node.js, and the modules I used, I couldn't actually install them because the memory was too small. So then I got into the Raspberry Pi and I was stuck there, but Raspberry Pi is quite big in many ways and maybe does too much for me sometimes. So I found my new love, Photon. It's from the company Particle. It might spark, and I'm not sponsored in any way, because when there's a new board, I will talk good about that one, just so you know. But this one, it's small and it connects to the internet straight away. I actually set it up today when I was here through the local Wi-Fi here, and I just enter the details of the Wi-Fi and it's up and running. And basically it's an Arduino, but with more space and with more functionality. And if you haven't worked with hardware before, you can actually buy this and you can download the app. You can start just controlling things. So in the Arduino world, we talk about different pins. I could put an analog sensor, like a potentiometer, and connect it and actually see it within this app. I can get the LED to blink on it as well. So the threshold for actually making something where you connect your web services and your stuff on the internet with electronics, it's never been easier. And then I would maybe show how I code in it, and then I can take a screenshot. I can either download their IDE or I can actually use it here. I'll just go into a web address and I have all my projects here in the cloud. It's the future, right? And I thought I would show some of these examples. First of all, I think it's really cool that once I hook up my photon, I can actually use Node.js, or I could use some of their SDKs, but I can even just log data from it if it has an internet connection. So instead of actually plugging this card into my computer and through serial port see the log, I can actually see it straight away wherever I am. And that's great, right? I'll show it here. Let's see. So here I just have some code, Arduino code. I have all my different sketches here. And if I want to, I can actually create a new app and import libraries that are part of the community. So it's really accessible if you want to start to do your Arduino projects just straight on a computer where you don't have any files at all. And the amazing thing is also that it's alive. I have a few, and now I plug this one into my computer here, and I just see that it's live. And I can get a log on how it's feeling. And then now I'll just try the light sensor here, and it just logs things in real time. And I think this is how developer platforms should be. My dream is that I have maybe a SIM card in a similar development platform, and it just starts straight away from wherever I am. And I can actually access the API as well. So I could just make a simple website here, and it actually just calls a certain URL, and I post a form to it, and the LED turns on here. You can see the code afterwards, and I turn it off, and it's off. So yeah, isn't that amazing? 2016. No, but this is how it should be, I think, with many developer platforms. And also I can obviously use this in different SDKs. I can, let's see. And now I have a few of them as well. And compared to Arduino Yun, where you actually set up it with your Wi-Fi, it can only hold one Wi-Fi. With this one, if I have my development project at the office and then I go to the summer house, or I go back to the office or home, it works because it remembers all the Wi-Fis. And the amazing thing with this is also that if you would want to make this into a larger project, Particle is actually, they have a platform for actually buying more of these and being able to actually admin all of these. So you could make your own IoT project from this and actually being able to update the firmware on all of them and see who's your customer. And I'm going to show it. Let's see. Yeah, this is just a screenshot of what they actually can offer. So once you do your prototype, you can do it and test it, and then you could go in a larger scale, buy more, and actually have your own cloud that they offer, your private cloud or their cloud. And it's also supported on different SDKs like Apple and Android, and also Node.js. And I think the amazing thing with this is that all of these development boards, the important thing is what they actually can support. And in this case, the more platforms, the more people will use it as well. And it's not just the software part, but actually the hardware part as well. So a company like SparkFun that sells a lot of electronics, they already done a few breakout boards for the Photon. So this is for making your wearable projects where you actually have threads that can conduct electricity. So basically you can do your Wi-Fi enabled wearable that you sew into your textiles. Or you can use this OLED screen and a number of other things, weather station. So I think this is a really nice ecosystem for me now, and then I'll change when it's a new one, obviously. And that's the thing, I'm standing here to tell you about my experience. I think afterwards it would be really interesting to hear your experience. Do you have a good platform in any other case, like when it comes to the Arduino platform or other things? And I still have my love for Raspberry Pi, obviously, because that reminds me of the web development. And I can have all my different programming languages. I love to run my Node.js projects. I've done some film installations because it has really good support showing high definition films. And I can even run Windows 10 on it. Would I want to do that? Well, I want to, because I want to connect my Connect 1. It doesn't support Connect 2 at the moment. And the amazing thing is also that this very cheap, small fellow also can control industrial motors. So in the latest project, I actually used it to control these really strong and very fast industrial motors, which means that you can basically build really large machines with this small computer. So it's still my favorite. And if you have questions about this particular project, like what kind of technology I used, you can ask me later and we can go into detail. But I have to end with another project that's not out there yet. It's a Kickstarter project, which I think is interesting. And we're still in the Windows platform, unfortunately. It's because I don't use it that much. That's why I talk bad about it. But I think it's really interesting because this is like a Raspberry Pi clone that actually has Arduino on it, and it have Windows on it. And it means that you can actually use things that you can't use with many development platforms, like, for instance, Kinect or Leap Motion, or things that are just supported on Windows. I have a mocap camera that I use now that only has this SDK for Windows. So I think this is really interesting as a new platform when you do installations or experiments. So please grab me afterwards if you want to have a look at Photon or talk about your favorite circuits.
Good job, Ellen. We're going to switch over to one up. Oh, perfect.
Me and Palle needs to, that you talked about before. Yeah. Just, yeah, that's me. Hi there. I guess I start. My name is Lars STHLMHW, and I, yeah, can I take a look at that? Yes.
You can.
Thank you.
Want it bigger?
No, I would need it
That?
smaller because I can, so I can adjust, so I can see.
Like that.
Yeah, and how do I think? I guess not. Yeah. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about prototypes. I do love prototypes. I've been prototyping all my life. You know, I guess it started when my father, he had in the cellar he had a workshop with a lathe and a milling machine. It was making live steam engines, and we had in the garden we had a railway, so he could, you know, build these small things. So, and then I started to building bikes and then mopeds and motorbikes and hot rods and things like that. So I'm building stuff all my life, and I do love it. I guess it's more started to be more real when I started here in KTH and was building doing wind tunnel testing. I was building models for wind tunnels. It was prototype airplanes and so on. So, and then I worked there a couple of years, and then I went to the US and then worked with a prototype airplane for 95 to 96. And then I came home and started my own business as a one-man show and work for artists and do art for artists and work with designer and make prototypes with designers and engineers and so on. And I can show you a little bit later on about what I've done. I have later on after this is done. And then 2013 I started at Prototal and as a boss there, and now we're, you know, I'm gonna here to talk to you a little bit about prototyping. And this is just a brief summary about me, what I've done. And I think one of the things that a lot of people do wrong is that, as the guy said before, that you should do more prototypes. It's because, and at least keep it simple. I mean, start with just sketches, pens, tape, MDF boards, you know, anything. Just make, you know, 10 prototypes, you know, and then I think after you've done that a while, I mean, it's so easy to get. No, but I don't have an image. I've just I'm trying to be free here somehow. I don't know. Yeah. It's so easy to get into the CAD and sitting and work with some corners or some surfaces that doesn't match really. You know, it's so hard to let go of the keyboard. Or if you're doing programming, I guess you also need to sometimes release from the keyboard and do some. You know, it's not working perfect, the code, but at least let it go. I think that's one of the things that people are doing. So simplify it. I think that would be very, very much to do it. You know, and then I think you should. Yeah. Just a quick interruption.
Yep.
Just take the mic a little closer.
Okay, try this. And then what you should do is also think about what should your prototype do. What is it for? What's the purpose of the prototype? Is it for being in a show? Is it for rough sketches? And think really hard. What is the prototype for? It's so easy to as I said, make it complicated. You know, do separate prototypes for machines or with moving parts or rough sketches and so on. So do think like, what is it for? Is it for a mock-up with just so you know the volume, or is it a mock-up with the lines, with the color and the graphics, or is it a mechanical prototype for the mechanical solutions, or is it a Kickstarter mock-up that or a prototype that you need for the Kickstarter when you think about how it should look and where you can film it and so on, or is it a thing that you have on a fair to show your product, you know? So that's one of the things that you really need to think about before you start prototyping. What is it for? And And then what I normally do is I print things. I love to print things. At home I have a MakerBot, an old one that I rebuilt it for chocolate printing, for instance, or I tried what do you call it, ginger, printing gingerbreads. Yeah. So you can do whatever you want to with this thing. But I think one of the things that you should just think about, I'm going to go through three different kinds of prototype printing machines. Is this FDM that you have here in the back, which is like the caviar type that you press the plastic through and you make your stuff. And I do really like these ones. They're not so good if you're going to make high standard, high quality models, but it's as good at least, and it's good for you having in your small shop and doing things. So that's really, really good. It's not so good if you want to paint or do things like that. That's bad. Yeah, not so good at it. And then I have my favorite is the SLS printer. It's then you take a powder and then you have a laser that melts your part in that a layer that you want it, and then you take the next layer of powder and then you melt it and so on, and you continue doing that. I like that because then you don't have any support structure. You don't need any support at all. You can just rinse it away, the support, or not, I should say, you can just rinse the powder away, so you can make canals for cables or whatever you want to do. It's kind of good because then you can also do the thinking of this thing, because if you do the FDM thing, then you need to, when you work with it, then you need to think, how is this going to be with the support, where am I going to split the model and so on. And if you do the SLS, you don't have to think about that at all. You can just work with it as you want to actually. And SLS is quite good. You can have glass fiber in it, so glass fiber reinforced, and you can actually print carbon fiber reinforced and other types, but it's not as many material as they have in like in Ultimaker and other ones. So, and then you have the SLA, which is epoxy, liquid epoxy, which you harden with a laser beam, which works as similar as everyone. Harden one layer with a laser beam, and then you lower it down, and then you harden the next layer, and so on. That one I like when you should make a really, really crisp model. You should be a super tight model for a show, for instance. So that's I think it's the most accurate, and it's also cheaper if you want to make a good model to make it over that, because it takes the model itself to print it is more money, but it takes less effort to make it a really, really nice prototype. And then I guess I should talk a little bit about milling. Milling, what I do when I do prototype, I do mill things in polyurethane, this foam, and it could be either the density of 0.2 to, I don't know, 7, 0.7 or something like that. Sometimes, yeah, a little bit higher. It depends on what kind of model it is. But that's kind of good if you want to have a big and a quick model to prototype to build up. So I do like that too in this case. And then you're casting, and I'm not so good in casting. So Pelle, please come here and show me. That's my colleague at Prototal. So he's going to come here and talk a little bit about casting.
Thank you, Lars. Hi, I'm the boring guy. Casting is actually what you probably will reach to last when you're working with prototypes. And casting is made in polyurethane.
Okay, so.
Sorry. So you first make a master in printing, and you can give it the finish you want to, and then you cast it in silicone, and then you use injection molding or polyurethane pure. And by that you can simulate very much the materials you can't print in. If you want a specific rubbery type or a specific shore value, it might be very difficult to do it in printing, because you have a limited number of materials you can emulate. In this type of casting, you can emulate almost every material, ABS or anything, and you can make good value with a pretty limited budget. You can make up to 20-25 casings, for example, for your gadgets. We're looking for armbands with, for example, dealing with people. So they wanted a soft material, and we looked into that. But it has some limitations, of course, for durability over the time. It doesn't last as long as a injection molded part. But this is something we look into after a while. Maybe we start with it during the work with the prototype, because people want to tend to know when will we be able to get to a pre-production model, to get out to maybe 10 or 15 shops or to different fairs or anything like that. So it's good to know the time span it takes to get a model in this technique. So I would say probably 3 weeks from start to finishing goods in your hand. Then also we would like to look into in real injection molding. Many prototypes are of course intended to be a product that will be sold in hundreds and thousands. And instead of making a tool with maybe 8 or 12 cavities, it's very good to make a small, simple aluminum tool first. Just one cavity to look to the product that it really works as you want it to, because to make any alterations in a 12 cavity tool made in steel is quite expensive. So it's often cheaper to make a fast little aluminum tool, make the device in the right material, everything works as it should be, and you can even make maybe a production of a small aluminum tool up to 20,000 parts. So it's a good way to really try out the market before you make the really big investment in a major tool that might cost you up to 1 million crowns or even more if it's a big part. A small aluminum tool that size might be around 35,000 crowns. So also that's something to be good to have in the back of your head, because it will take 6, 8, 10 weeks maybe to get that part in your hand. So that's also a good way to start before you want it, because otherwise you have to be on hold for another 10 weeks until you get the stuff in your hand. To coordinate everything in prototyping and put it into the market, it's very good to work on parallel tracks at the same time, so you don't have to put them one after the other, because it will take a very long time. And that's the process I'm mostly involved in at Prototal.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I'm done. We have some parts back there that you can come and look at, and I will show you a little bit what I've been doing when I'm working with artists and so on. So that's more private down there. So come and join me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me see if I can get this back on. Yep. Let's see here. Okay, so here are the talks that we just went through. So these are the 4. So we went through Simone's presentation around her crazy machines, and Lasse, I guess he was last, but he was just talking through the prototypes that they're doing at Prototype. And Per from People, of course, and Ellen with her development boards. So overall for the night, it's looking like this. Here we go. We're actually slightly ahead of schedule. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, we are slightly ahead of schedule. So I'm just going to, after the break.
So the iPad is really working?
It really is working, almost too well. So we're going to break, but just wait for a minute. After the break, we're going to do the lightning talks. And we have 9. And if anyone wants to volunteer, come see me, and we'll see if we can squeeze that in. It's going to be even more tight on time, so we're going to really try to enforce the 3 to 5 minute time limit on everybody. And anyone that has a lightning talk, please come see Ellen to make sure that we have your deck on this computer, so that we can not spend too much time on the switching. After the lightning talks, we'll just wrap up, and we'll do another Stockholm Makerspace tour, or somebody will do another tour if you're interested in that. Plus, I think Eric is going to demo the 2 different types of 3D printers down there in the back. I am going to just give a shot at essentially moving in one of the people that we have up here. I'll just show you one of the guys that we have for lightning talks. I'm sorry for the skipping through the slides. Okay, I can't find the slide. One of the guys that I'd love to have you meet is a guy named Panu, who lives in Helsinki, and he is doing some similar initiatives to this, but in Helsinki. And one of the things that we thought we would try to do in this meetup and going forward is to help you both get an understanding of what is happening in other cities and countries in their hardware communities, while also helping you to get connected to them, whether you want to go there or maybe you want to tap into the type of talent they have. So if you'll excuse me for a second while I try to see if I can make Skype work on this thing. Give me just a sec, let's see. Okay, do you want to, by a show of hands, how many think that this Skype call is going to work? It was way less than half. So let's try this out. This is typical. Sorry. Okay. Obviously you get one of these, right? Do you want to install? No. Don't want to install. Do I want to try to Skype in Panu? Yes, I do want to Skype in Panu. Okay, so let's try this, see how it goes.
Hi guys.
All right, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, that felt so good for just a moment. All right, we'll try it again. Does that count as a win? Like, did it still work? Okay, let's try again. Panu.
Okay, hi.
Okay, right, awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I think I had the stream on, so...
do you have somebody cooking in the background, Panu?
No.
Okay. Can you see everybody, or at least some part of the people that we got here?
Yeah,
okay,
I can see a lot of
Can you all wave to Panu?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi.
So Panu, you're in Helsinki, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And you've been working with building hardware community in Helsinki for a while, is that right?
Yeah, for a year and a half, something like that.
Cool. So we are on our second meetup, which means 2 months. So we're way behind, but we have maybe 3-5 minutes. And I was wondering if you could talk us through a bit of what is going on in Helsinki or in Finland in hardware and what you guys are doing with that.
Okay, so yeah, we started around like a year and a half ago, something like that, with arranging meetups and events for hardware-minded people in Helsinki, and specifically like hardware entrepreneurs. I got the idea from when I was living in New York in 2013. I was in the same meetups as probably Sune went as well, these New York hardware meetups. So that's where I got the idea and got a few guys here in Helsinki interested about starting to arrange these kind of events. So what we do is we arrange events and happenings, like not very regularly, but like between 2 months or so, every 2 months or so, not every month. We usually have it might be a similar kind of setup that you guys have. There's a handful of speakers, usually from 3 to 5 speakers, and then we have a lot of hardware entrepreneurs and hardware enthusiasts in the audience. Maybe I could give you a few examples of the events that we've arranged. We always try to have some.
Maybe just give us talk to us about what's coming next for you and your organization. Plus, like how do people here get in touch with you if they want to engage with the community there?
I think, well, the best thing to get in touch with us is to, well, our website. It's hardwarestartup.fi. So through that website, you can fill out forms and sign up to our email lists. The email list is probably the best way to get notified about upcoming events and other stuff that we're offering to our members. And then you can also follow us in Facebook. We have the Hardware Startup Finland community in Facebook, and in Twitter the handle is Hardware FI. So that's the best way to get in touch with us. And well, something that's coming up in the community, we have been quiet with arranging the events now for a few months. Our latest event was in November or December. We arranged a sort of like a small hackathon with Sigfox. They're an IoT player in France. So that was the previous event, and the reason why we've been so quiet is that we are actually putting together an accelerator program specifically for IoT startups and specifically hardware IoT startups. And it's going to be a bit different than the usual accelerators. So we're going to be running it non-profit. So we won't be taking any equity from the startups or success fees or anything. But that's definitely something that if you guys are interested in that, please get in touch. It will happen hopefully sometime next summer.
Cool. And also, Panu's contact details will be on, like his LinkedIn details will be on any of our websites. So meetup.com or stockholmhardware.com or all those places. So Panu, thanks a lot for dialing in, and enjoy your evening on the town.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot. And you guys have a great meetup. I'd really love to continue this communication and collaboration between the hardware communities in the Nordics.
Very nice.
So have a great evening.
Thank you, Panu. Yeah, that's right. You didn't think that was going to work, did you? Okay, so let's do a break, and we'll come back in about 15 minutes. And when we do, it'll be in this fairly high-intensity lightning talk format. So anyone that has a talk for lightning talks, please make sure to come up here and get your presentations ready. Oh, also, we're out of beer, but we're going to take a couple of boxes out of the fridge now. Okay, thank you. So we're ready for the second half, and I think we got an extra one while we were preparing, so we now have 10 lightning talks. In order to get that done in time, we're aiming for 3 to 5 minutes each, and the format generally is about trying to deliver a persuasive points pretty quickly, whether you do it with a presentation or a video or just by dance moves or amazing persuasive skills. In the future, it would be great if you guys or your friends will want to contribute to these lightning talks. So strongly encourage that. I'm not totally sure if we're going to do it in this order, but let's try it. Okay, let's get started. Why don't we welcome to the stage Alessandro and Caroline. Woo!
Should I start? Yeah. Now we have to take turns with the microphone. Hi, I'm Caroline, and this is Alex. We have a presentation. All right, we both work at an agency called Yuri, but we're here tonight to talk about a project that started about a year ago when we were studying at Hyper Island. And then Alex and 4 other people in our class, we decided to do a project, and when we were conceptualizing, we decided to do something around 2 topics that we're passionate about, and that is tech and team.
All right, so yeah, our project was called The Big Hack, and it was created on the idea that it was, we felt a lot of people had a problem bridging the gap between the kind of technology and the approach that you can feel, like the confidence in trying something out. And we at Hyper Island realized that it's actually easier than you think to just play around with a bit of hardware and do something pretty amazing. So that was our whole concept. So we decided to run workshops and combine this to team development and tech. So we did a workshop with some schools, with some agencies. We did with some like bigger companies, like the management team and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting insights from those exercises. And the tool of choice was something called Little Bits, which some of you maybe know already, some not, but we have like few boxes in the back if you want to check it out. And just because they're really, really easy entry level, almost like Lego for prototyping. So you just snap them together with magnets and you go inputs, outputs, and even some like programming modules, some like Arduino based. So yeah, that was our whole setup pretty much. And few instances we got, this is from one workshop with an agency where they were trying to hack their own office. So this was some kind of robot that would you know, go all crazy whenever they got some kind of like, I think it was a hashtag or something on their account. But the main thing with the team development is that we realize that building things together, making prototypes as a team, sparked a lot of team dynamics, which for us was, you know, was really good because then you can ask them to reflect and to do exercise upon. And in terms of tech, the idea was that we realized how Little Bits was perfect for a wide range of skills. So both people that were like developers or like just amateur people who never used any tech, and also age. So we run this with kids or with adults. And here's some example of what people actually came up with, which is pretty fun. So we got like, I don't know how you just maybe play the first one. So this was during the Beat Olympics. They were asked to hack sports, and this was a kid just trying to do something, some kind of like football, and yeah. Anyway, it worked kind of well. But yeah, so there's some. Yeah, do the other.
Better, you know, just get it neat. Like, it's not really facing the ball.
That's what the
Stop giving excuses, man. Come on.
Superman can do it.
Come on, Shad. Use those lungs.
Yeah.
I want to point to the disappointment in his face. I think that's part of prototyping, is not very happy. And this was actually, this won the Little Bits Olympics, so it was put on their site. And it was, nah.
You got another minute, by the way. It's a little early.
Oh, it's all right. I wasn't too worried. No? Nice. Anyway, yeah, the whole point was that we just realized how valuable it was to actually combining prototype with team development instead of just having people running the old marshmallow challenge and stuff like that. So that's just what we wanted to bring to the table. Thank you.
Good job. Perfect. Next up is Alan of Neue Labs, who will demo their own hardware using the programming platform Node-RED. Is that right, Alan?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Do you need some help, or do I need to hold this, or can you hold it yourself?
I'll have a go at holding it. Here we go. Right. Hi, everyone. Yeah. This seems quite ambitious now, trying to get all this to work in 5 minutes, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You might actually need to hold the microphone, I realise now. I've got, yeah, there we go. Okay, basically, we're from Neue Labs. There's a couple of others here today, and we produce a device called Automat, which is an Internet of Things device, and it's basically for prototyping, of course, which is why we're here tonight. And the thing that we do is prototype with, or make it possible for people to prototype with hardware and with the software Node-RED, which I guess a lot of you will know about already, which is basically a visual programming tool for the Internet of Things, with a way of hooking devices up to other devices or to various websites. I've got a couple of links here.
Mm-hmm. They're on the screen,
if we
actually.
take a look at Automat Space first, just a quick intro.
You've got all of us working. I am carrying the mic, and Ellen is working the presenter. And
okay, that's us. That should be along in a minute, just as Chris pointed out shortly. Yeah. It's a model that we spent ages trying to get hold of, actually.
She's coming here?
maybe. She's a bit of a rock star in the modeling industry, apparently. So the thing is, this kind of describes what we're about. We're very much about the creative aspects of the technology that we use, and that's, I hope that comes across. And it's a prototyping platform, so makes ideas happen. Here's the general idea. And if you could just go to the blog for me.
What's the next one? Down.
Sorry, I can't see my...
No, this is great.
It's the next link on the...
The next link.
Over... Yes, that one. Next link down.
One of the things that we... Do you
want to hold this yourself now?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do something myself. Yeah. A typical... just a bit of fun, really. A prototype that we made with 9 of our devices. Is this camera working for everybody here? Yeah.
Let's try it.
You will need to see it close up because it's rather small.
Here we go.
Okay. I guess. You see that? That is the power board and the Automat device and a battery connecting it. We've got 2 of these. One's connected to USB as well. And this is going to be complicated. Just bear with me here. We've got an app that we... I'll show you the app. That's the app there. Okay. And we've got a couple of these devices running, and they hook up automatically to the app. And if we go in to this page, we can send it to the cloud, which is the Node-RED platform that we're using. And if you could just take me to the link there. And now I have to log in. Yeah, I know.
Secure.
Right.
I forgot to start the counter at 5, so it's only down to 3.
Where's the link page there?
It's the one on the left, that one. Show of hands, how many have heard of Node-RED before today? Okay, pretty good. A third, roughly a third. And how many have actually installed an instance of or opened up the IDE for Node-RED? Okay, cool. It's like 10 people or so. So I think that just goes to show, I think it's an area that we have a lot of opportunity in. And I think we could learn a lot if you can get in there. If not, you'll be allowed to come back later. Nice, that's good.
All right. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay. So as you can see, what we've just connected, we connected those devices to the phone, and the phone is wired up to this instance of Node-RED. We've actually collaborated with a company in Vancouver called Sense Technic, which also a lot of people might have heard of in the IoT business and working with Node-RED. Yep. This side panel is what basically Sense Technique in Vancouver have produced over the top of Node-RED, which allows you to log in and run Node-RED from the cloud. You can set up your own instance and hook it up with our devices. We've developed a bunch of nodes here, climate and motion, for example, that will basically take all the data from our sensors on our board. I haven't actually talked about that yet, but the board has an accelerometer, gyro, humidity and temperature readout, and 12 inputs and outputs digital. 8 can be configured to analog input, and that should give you pretty much everything you need for a lot of different sorts of prototyping.
30 seconds, Alan.
Yep. So basically, I just wanted to show you the whole process. The idea behind everything is to prototype with hardware, with the various different modules that we have that you can connect up to the Automat baseboard, and the Node-RED platform. Obviously, you can connect sites to hardware and so on in various different ways, and prototype with software, basically, but on the fly. That'll do for now. We muddled through there, didn't we? We muddled through. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. Next up. Next up, Gustav.
Thank you. Hello. Let's see if I can have a presentation. Hey. There was a clicker. Do I just click the clicker for the clicker to work? Hi. My name is Gustav. I run Makerspark. It's a kind of maker space, event space, co-working space, hangout in Gamla stan. And you're welcome to come join me there pretty much anytime. So I'm here to... What happened just? Yeah, okay. I'm here to say... So, first of all, qualifying question. Whoever bought something from Alibaba? Okay, the rest of you, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, exactly. That's where you get your shit. Then that's like the basic foundation of the whole hardware revolution, is the fact that we can now buy our components straight from the factory in China, not having to go to Clas Ohlson and pay shitloads for them. So I had this idea that I wanted to build this disco ball. So this is a disco ball. It's 1 meter diameter. It has about 200 mirrors on it, and that's why the servos, because all the servos are controlling the 200 mirrors. So this is a little prototype. So I've done a prototype, laser cut, little cardboard pieces here. So it's basically going to be 200 mirrors on a big ball that can move with the music, and it's huge and it's going to be blinky. So that was the hardware part of it. So why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because of this. So this is Burning Man. Who heard about Burning Man? The rest of you, what the fuck's wrong with you? So basically, Burning Man is a prototype city. It's a prototype universe. It's like, hey, let's prototype anything that's possible to prototype and just bring it into the middle of fucking nowhere. 80,000 people going into the desert and building what they want. It's a participatory festival where all content is created by the people who show up. It's basically the same foundation as the internet. You know, instead of having to ask permission and getting grants and permits from the government, you just have the basic principle that anyone can connect anything without having to ask first. And that's what this is. You hook it up, your idea, whatever it is. And you know, people come and worship this man on fire, and they build art and art and art and a lot of blinky art. Blinky art is huge at Burning Man. This is like the capital of blinky shit. So if you're into blinky shit like me, this is your place. But not only that, this is like the capital of innovation in the world right now. And I'm not just talking about tech side. I'm talking about, like, why are we here? Why are we doing this? I mean, this is a prototype religion. This is a prototype way of life. And yeah, and it's of course intricately connected with, you know, the Silicon Valley we all know and love. I mean, when Eric Schmidt was hired by Google in 2002, like this, by the way, do you know what this is? This is the first Google Doodle ever made. So in 96 or 97, this was the logo on the Google main page when you went in. And when you clicked it, it said, all of Google is at Burning Man. If the site goes down, we're back on Tuesday. Now, when Eric Schmidt was hired by Google in 2002, there's a New York Times article from 2002 where they interview Larry Page, and Larry says, well, we had a lot of good candidates, but Eric was the only one who had been to Burning Man. So going from that, why am I talking about this here? Because Stockholm is trying to make this claim of being some kind of startup city. We can't do that unless we have a fucking Burning Man here. Right? So I figured you all would like to help out and do that, because I mean, no one can do it themselves. No one can do it. It's just like this thing that everyone is a part of and wants to create. It's like the internet, but we started just 2 months ago. Had this idea like, hey, let's do this in Stockholm, yeah, and it's happening. So it's called Urban Burn, the Bizarre Star Bazaar. It's the vision of, you know, in the future, we're on an intergalactic space station, and we of course live in a world of abundance. So everyone's showing up there to share and give all of their creative inventiveness. So it's this chaotic bazaar of people who are trying to give you things. And that's what we're trying to create. So we have, with some people, who's going? There's some people here already who's going, yeah? Yeah? Awesome, yeah! We rented a Nobelberget, so it's a 2,000 square meter warehouse building. This is gonna happen in 2 weeks. It's a 2,000 square meter warehouse building. We rented it for 5 days. It's gonna be open from 10 a.m. till 3 a.m. every day for those 5 days. And when the first people show up who have gotten tickets, the first people who show up on Wednesday, it's gonna be empty. It's just gonna be, you know, you have to come in and figure out how to set up your own ticket check, basically, because no one's in charge of that. No one's in charge of anything. And when we leave on Sunday night, it's also gonna be empty, hopefully. And what happens between that time is up to you guys. So this is an invitation to take whatever you like to give to other people, whatever you like to create, whatever comes from in here, and like, I want to show this to the world, be it, you know, your cool little Internet of Things prototype thing, or your amazing yoga / BDSM workshop. You know, you do whatever you want to do. And you know, come and make some magic. So thank you for having me.
Very awesome. Thank you, Gustav. I don't know how to. I can barely even say anything after that. You probably can't hear what I'm saying because I turned the mic down so low because you're speaking so loudly. When is it? In 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. Wow.
March 9 to 13, and it's urbanburn.se. Oh, there's a community meeting tomorrow. So if you just search for Urban Burn, you'll find it. Yeah. The meeting is at Norden in Signa.
Welcome.
Thank you. And now for something completely different. Where's the clicker? Clicker.
Sideways.
So hi, I'm Thomas. I'm from an organization called Akvo. We're a non-profit foundation. Everything we do is open source. We do data systems, and we do sensors. We've just started doing sensors. And I need a presentation. It's a power poop thing. That was quite there. That one. Thank you. So I'll stand over here. Maybe we can see it as well. What did I press? It went black.
You probably pressed the in button. I've done that many times.
Yeah, I must have done. Sideways. So, yeah, sorry about that. Sideways. There we go. So we build open source hardware and software. It's mainly used in international development, and so lots of stuff in Africa, South Asia, Pacific, Central America stuff. And we're a bunch of us. We started 10 years ago. We're about 75 people now, and we're spread out sort of all over the world. I'm in Stockholm, obviously. And I want to talk about something called Aqua, which is essentially a mobile laboratory for water testing. And the people that have invented this thing, they're a bunch of hackers from Bangalore that are now on our team. They're really awesome people. And now I pressed that damn thing again. It's like... So here is some of the first prototypes. So what are they prototypes of? They're water quality tests. So there, in a lot of parts of the world, there's water that you drink that is not safe to drink. And often people take it out of a well and they have nothing else, or from a groundwater source somewhere. And fluoride, in this case, is something you have in your toothpaste at small levels. But when you have lots of it, you know, your skeleton starts bending and doing awful shit, essentially. And it's not repairable once it's started, right? You can't bend the skeleton back again. There are other things that we're also working with, but fluoride was where we started. And the guys, they built a bunch of different types of prototypes, and this was supposed to be connected via DSM, and it was going to send things to data system somewhere. And it sort of got too complicated. So we decided to do it as a mobile phone attachment instead. So this is an early prototype of that, where you take, the way it works is you take a bit of water, you put it in this container, you add a reagent through a little capsule, you close the lid, it injects it, it colors the water, and then you read the color with a camera, and you get a result. And it's pretty cool, because we just published a paper that essentially, scientifically shows this stuff is as good as the expensive lab test you can get, but you get it in a minute. And this is pretty awesome, actually. So, but it turned out prototyping. When we were doing this stuff, we had some trouble. We could get this stuff to work. This is a later version. Works really well. It's being used now a bunch in different pilots to show that so we could do that paper and say, hey guys, this stuff works. But calibration, all the cameras on all the bloody phones are different. It's a bit of a problem. And even phones of the same make, brand, version, etc., everything are all different. So we had to fix that. The phone sizes didn't work so well for that combination either. So we ended up with a hybrid solution with an external camera that we're working on right now. But he also learned that, we could read colors just with the camera. So we're doing something called, you take a test strip, you do the pH test, stick it in and says, oh, it's like 7 pH, that's good, I can drink that. So you can do that with lots of things for iron, nitrates, lots of other things. So we've made software now that you can take a photograph of a strip test, and actually it does the job better than the human does it. We've just proven that as well. So that's pretty cool. And we're just testing this right now. In Mali, they're doing 8,000 tests for real, and all of this stuff uploads to a cloud service. So they get all of this, near real time. And this stuff is going to make a huge difference for a lot of people. And if you're interested in hearing more about it, I'm around. Oh, I actually have one question to you guys. We're just about to go to large scale, sorry, not large scale, 10,000 sort of type manufacturing. And any hints on good secret suppliers in like China or whatever that can do some of that come to me. I'd like to know.
That's awesome. So, and I don't think we really spoke about it, and maybe we should have published it earlier. But we already have the date for the next Stockholm Hardware meetup, and it's going to be the last Tuesday of next month, which is the 29th. So Tuesday the 29th. Obviously, there's going to be a slide, and it's going to be published everywhere. But the theme will be manufacturing, scale, and distribution. So in about a month, like those types of questions is exactly what we'll meet and talk more about. Okay. Right, perfect. This is great. Let's see. Okay, I wanted to just mention that the way that Thomas and I got in touch, we don't actually know each other ahead of time, was you posted a comment on the meetup.com page and you said, how do you organize these lightning talks? And that's how we organize them. So you asked if you could do a talk, and you are. So again, I encourage you guys to all feel like you can contribute to the community. And I think you should think about it as a way of you giving back to the other people who are giving talks here as well. You were spot on time, and it doesn't have to be as smooth a presentation. You can do whatever you want. Oh, here we are. Anders? You're ready. Perfect. So we have Anders and I think 4 more, which gives it 10 in total. And that should give us, so 5 more, 5 minutes, 25. So that should end us at 9. So we'll see how that goes. Welcome, Anders.
Thank you. And thank you all speaking so far. It's been great listening to you. And on a side note, I think my talk here is going to be a little bit less ambitious, perhaps. I mean, you're all professional prototypers, right? And I'm just here for the fun of it. So today, I'm going to just let you know a little bit about some stuff that I've been making. And I will be trying to press the very small sideways button. Let's see how that works. And, well, starting off in the right end then. So for me, this is not just about work, even though some of you are doing magnificent work here. It's a little bit about play as well. So me, I'm the tech enthusiast, and I also like solving problems. So I'm solving problems with technology. Not always these world-changing problems, mind you. So one of my first things that I built in Makerspace was actually to help out my 4-year-old kid who was trying to make his robot work, but he couldn't make the arms fit sideways. So I printed Legos that you can fit pieces sideways. And, well, maybe not as ambitious as some of these other prototypes, but still a starting. So moving on then. And I think Makerspaces, by the way, you have some other great skills available here as well too. But Makerspace is good when you're really in the early stage. You just want to try out things, being creative. And you have the tools and you have the community. So you can ask for pretty much anything and you can get pretty darn good answers too, if you want to know how to do CAD or whatever. So I learned some things along the way, and I'm going to cut it short, but essentially, working with prototyping, you already know it, it's an iterative process. You make something, and the idea is to fail faster. You heard it before, and this is really what I like about the Makerspace, and also the new technologies such as 3D printing, of course. So in this case, now helping some other ways of playing with my band, and to actually help us be in sync, keeping on the same page, so to speak. And just making this page turner. And of course, there are page turners available for your iPads already, but this one had to be cross-platform. It had to work for a band, meaning for multiple persons, and it had to work also for routing back and forth among your scores. So this is the prototype, and mind you, when I started at the Hackerspace 1 year ago, I didn't even know how to CAD. So this is the first thing. Somebody actually helped me doing this. And then moving on, learning how to work with the hardware. Some pieces of electronics, well, I used to play with it as a kid, so it was easy picking up, sort of, but still. And the end product actually works, and we use it now in my band when we're playing. So just a small case. And the list goes on. I have made like 20 things or something, but just showing off a few here. Next thing was my take of the Internet of Things, to have a communication thing, and then moving up a notch when it comes to CAD. And again, not possible without the help of my friends at the Makerspace. And just gonna let it sit there. And the idea here was to have an information sign that would connect to internet and pick up whatever tweets or events that you would have coming in the Stockholm makerspace in this case. But as it turns out, so this is just how it would look like. I won't take the time to connect it now, but you see the principle. And as it turns out, when I told my colleagues at work, I worked in Skanska, construction company, fairly big in Sweden and some other parts of the world. They said, hey, this is actually the type of information sign that we need in the construction sites. Can you make this waterproof? Not on our 3D printer, but actually this is my next prototype. So I quit my job and started prototyping, and this is one of the devices I'm looking to maybe use. Mind you, I'm on the software side, I'm the software guy. This is just for fun, but maybe, who knows, for a little bit of real work as well. And this is what it would look like, 4 times bigger, but still essentially the same idea. And moving on then to some more qualified prototypes. I'm sure that you also have your pre-sign up for the HoloLens already, just like me. But in case you can't wait, of course, you prototype your own. And again, it's a bit crude, it works. And the essence here is that being a software developer, this one I built not because I want to use the hardware. This is not going to be at par compared to the professional products. This is to develop software. So this is what I use prototyping for at work. I think that's pretty much what I had for you today, but thank you all. Very nice.
Very smooth. You finished with 5 seconds to go. I have this. I have a great, very happy reaction whenever I see people that are seem to be wearing suits, but they're working in the makerspace. Just always makes me happy and pleased. So, yeah, I love that. I think that there's this hidden like this hidden obsession, which I really appreciate. But of course, you took it further because you actually quit your day job.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I'm doing something wrong, but what I'm looking for is Björn to come up next. Here we are. Björn, but I'm not totally sure if Björn is here because I didn't see him. But he was going to be here. No. So hopefully Björn is going to come a little later. He actually works just kind of a couple of blocks down. So one of the collaboration partners of things is actually some people at KTH that runs this machine design. I think it's called mechatronics, essentially like mechanical and electronics combined. And he actually has a set of very, very awesome prototyping machines. So I was hoping he was going to show us some of that. But we have the amazing Pau to come show us some drones. Welcome, welcome, Pau. Can you hold yourself, or?
Yeah.
Okay. I have
will
a
be by
camera here
face.
for you if you want to.
I will go by faces, so I will be picking up things. Hello, everybody. My name is Pau Manol, and I'm the CEO and founder of Inconova. We develop drones and drone systems. Our main philosophy or goal is to push the technology and in both hardware and software, and also find out new applications. We like to say that we developed drones for good, so search and rescue, to help firefighters, or basically things that are not, military and so on. Which, luckily nowadays, the word drone is not. People are starting to realize that this is just a small part, the military drones. Anyway, so, and you said there is a side button, right?
Very weird.
Okay, so basically what I said, I will just go forward relatively quickly with the slides, and then I will show a couple of videos. Well, this is the first drone that we developed and started selling last May in 2015. It has a particularity, which is that it can tilt the rotors instead of tilting the whole body. So usually drones fly by changing the speed of the the motors and tilting the body so that it can go forward, backwards. This actually, the controller keeps the body stable. Yeah, keeps the body stable, and what it rotates is the arms. So yeah, it has certain advantages. So for example.
Just stand in front of the screen.
Yeah, perfect. In this case, this is the latest product that we have, which has independent tilting arms, but the first product rotated at the same time. But better to show some videos on how we got here. Can you pass? Yeah, I would like to have 4 hands instead of 2, but anyway. So there are some advantages in performance, in efficiency. This can fly above 100 kilometers per hour easily. And at that speed, I mean, if you keep the body horizontal instead of tilted like the regular quadcopters or multi-rotors, I mean, the aerodynamics is much better, acceleration and so on. So because of this, we started to develop a tilt rotor for racing. And actually, you can click in YouTube, you can search for tilt drone, and there is a promotional video. Yeah, I think, yeah, you click and I will. Yes or no? Yes. Yeah, click it. Click. But I will skip the part that I talk because it's no, it's 2 minutes. How much left? Okay. Maybe parts of it. So basically, no sound.
Hi, my name is Pau, and I'm the developer of Tilt, the first 3D printed in carbon fiber quadcopter racer, which has also dynamic tilting arm system, which provides extremely fast accelerations, higher top speed, and improved aerodynamics. The camera view is way better. You don't look at the ground, especially at high speed. Our dynamic tilting arm system is coded on CleanFlight, and with a single channel potentiometer, you can quickly switch between dynamic tilting and fixed tilt. One of my dreams has been to fly a mini quad against a supercar. So thanks to the development of Tilt, I've been able to realize this dream.
All right, ready for race? In 3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, thanks. So I must say it was a very windy day. The first try I almost crashed against the Lamborghini because I wanted to do it very close and I had to fly a bit far away. Anyway, so this is where we are now. As I said, we have these and 2 other products that are in the office. By the way, we sit up there in 1 floor up here in things. But the first prototype was this one. Okay, the arms are not supposed to move like that. It's just, they are not locked, obviously. But it's a bunch of basically some 3D printed parts, laser cut in acrylic, aluminum tubes that I cut myself, and some 3D printed in PLA motor mounts and so on. This was made in MakerSpark. By the way, thanks to Gustav, because everything started there. He was super inspiring. Well, you have seen how inspiring he is already. So, and thanks, Gustav. Are you here? Okay, good. Yeah. So so anyway, this is the first prototype, and if we can go 1 second to YouTube, because I want you to ask you something. So if we go, I will show you the first video of the prototype flying. If I click, but I want to go to my videos, so. Okay, sorry for the. Come on. Okay, so here, for example, is very short. Is well, actually, I'm gonna go forward, but this is in MakerSpark. So that was the first prototype. Okay, so just quickly this, and the latest. Now we have a bunch of, yeah, all this is. Let's see the teaser. Where is it? Yeah, that's me. Where is it? Okay, this is just 40 seconds or less, but go forward. Come on. Okay, so that's fast. Okay, so the question is, how long do you think we went from prototyping, laser cut and so on, till what we are selling? By the way, well, I'm not going to tell you how long it took, but do you have a guess? I mean, no. For example, how much? Yeah, you. Yeah, for example. Okay, no, less. So just say numbers or. Okay, someone knew it, I think. Okay, good. It's short. We spent just 4 months from prototyping or first cut actually still selling, and this was just thanks to 2 tools that we have used a lot, which is laser cutter and 3D printing. If you use this, they are inexpensive nowadays, and if you use this, you can actually you can get working prototypes and test a lot of things very cheaply. And well, that was actually the whole point, to show what I'm doing, plus the use of laser cutter and 3D printing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Cool. Yeah. Hi, Carl. Hi. You know, we actually already saw Panu, who is next, and you wanted to mention something with your amazing creation.
So I just want to give you an example of the kind of stuff you can build at this meetup. So if you haven't done it already, just go to meetup.com/KHD number 4, KHD for adults with the 4. So 21st of March. This is it's got a plastic fork, if you can see. So if you want to try it out, I was trying to grab some chips earlier, but it can become a little bit lazy or like grumpy and tired. Just a little side note. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Carl. And Carl, when is the next and the first of them?
21st of March.
21st of March. Okay, yeah. Very cool. Are we at the end already? Okay, cool. Why don't you get into that, and I will see if I can get Willem on the line. But we may not be able to, and we have a bonus. Who's the bonus?
Yeah, Daniel, I have your presentation here.
Big round of applause.
Okay, so this is a bit of just a quick, silly presentation of something that was basically prototyped in a night, and I was playing with a board that has a ESP8266 on it and a lot of LEDs, and a friend of mine wanted to CAD something to 3D print, but he didn't know what to, so he wanted to try to CAD something. And I had a few other LED rings, so I decided, well, if you set these rings of different sizes, it kind of looks like a Christmas tree. And let's see, to the left. So basically, we just took some components together, did some measures, and 3D printed a little Christmas tree. And well, started to play a bit with the code. And unfortunately, it's, well, the final piece is this, and I have it in my pocket. I didn't make it to the deadline, which was Christmas, so it's just blinking right now, but I can at least show it blinking. And I was playing with it yesterday at the Makerspace, but the design of the board and the current firmware of or the current Arduino libraries don't want to work very well together, so it's a bit. But that's, well, a little quick, like rapid prototyping of, or quick play, basically.
Perfect. I just got a note from Björn Müller, who is the KTH guy. He's sick, so he's not going to make it. So thanks to all the lightning talk speakers. Is there anyone who wants to come up and take the last slot of the evening? We've got 3 to 5 minutes. Yes, Björn was, the question is, what was Björn going to talk about? I hope he'll come back. But it probably will not fit into the theme of next time. Next time, as I mentioned, it'll be manufacturing, scale, distribution, which is not exactly what they do. But he would be talking about what type of work they do at Mechatronics, both for students, but also they have a prototype center that he's helping to head up. So hopefully there'll be some other opportunity for that. Ellen.
Yes. I just want to add from my talk, I forgot to tell you that the photon that I showed you, the same company Particle is actually released a GSM module for this as well, that they just shipped this week. And I know that someone here in the audience have one if you want to touch it. Yeah, but it's really cool, I think, and it will probably be part of the same platform, and I think that's very exciting because then you have things connected just through out of the box with GSM, and they also have part of that. They have a data plan that works in 80 countries, which is pretty cool. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just when Sune mentioned KTH, I kind of couldn't resist because we had a project with KTH students where they got to build robots that were supposed to go through a track like a hinderbana, and they produced a video of all these prototypes. It's like 2.5 minutes long, so I think it's kind of a nice way to end the evening. Yeah.
Cool. While you pull it up, that's actually it for all the amazing content for you tonight. So Carl is just going to show you a few amazing creations to outro with. The last slide that we'll put up in a moment is the details about the next Stockholm Hardware meetup, which, as we already spoke about, is going to be in roughly about a month. It's the end of the last Tuesday in March, which potentially may become the standard cadence, but we'll see. At least it'll have been 3 last Tuesdays in a row. So we'll put that up in a moment. And then Eric, you still have like a few of the Makerspace members, the 2 guys over there by the door. So if anyone has time to do a 15-minute tour of Stockholm Makerspace downstairs, those, yep, that's right, that guy that you know and this lady, they'll give you a tour downstairs if you haven't been there already. I don't know if, I was about to say, even if you're wearing a suit, you can still get a tour of Stockholm Makerspace, but there's not that many, but That's right, especially if. How's that going, Carl?
It's going. You see me in 30 seconds.
Okay, you're logging into Facebook.
Yeah, because.
And we dropped the connection also.
Yeah,
oh, that's because you're icy. Well, I wonder if our live streaming will ever recover from this moment. Can I plug it in now? Or?
Yeah, you can plug it in.
Okay. Any fun comments about Carl's Facebook feed? Can we see it? Not seeing it? Here we go. Drag it. Yes. Great.
So they were graded, these projects. They were graded on the speed to pass through the track, weight of the prototype, and how many metal balls they could drag over this magnet. That's that thing there. So I think I was pretty amazed by the creativity of. I certainly wasn't that creative when I was an engineering student. This was the honorary. They got the honorary prize from us because it's so beautiful. You can see how they are all dumb, so they don't have any sensors. So they had to work because it's for mechanical engineering students. And then there's some. These are all on display. They're all on display in the KTH the building. I think that's quite a lot of metal balls there. So I think that one placed like top 5. And then we have some failed projects. Yeah, that one didn't go too well. And then there is this one is funny. So as you might see from this, we're sort of in the field of shitty robotics. That's it's really big in Japan also. And I think these are like the winners. This one is really. Yeah, maybe are there any KTH students here, by the way? Yeah, that one. Okay, so raise your hand, stand up, stand up now, because I think your project is coming up now. It's the next one. So this the next project placed second. They were yeah, this one was second. So you see, now the time stops, because they are cheating. Yeah, very clever. This one, yeah, this is, I think there's only one left now. So yeah, it was fun. They got like this limitation. They only got servo motors that move 0 to 180 degrees. So they didn't get any motors that could spin the whole lap. So that was like sort of the challenge, how to translate that to forward move. Thank you a lot, Simone, for just improvising like.
I think thank you, Carl. That was a great outro. Yeah, you probably should. So that was really nice. Could you help me maybe put the last slide on?
Yes.
That would be yes. That one. Okay. Yes. No. Back. You'd think that was the last one, but you know that would make sense if it was the last one, but it's not. This is where we want to go. Okay. Okay, by a show of hands, how much fun was that? Okay, very nice. That's everybody. Very nice. Cool. So that was the second of our Stockholm Hardware meetups, and we'll do it again in about a month. It gets a little bit more serious because it's about.
I'm sorry. I just need to say that we need to dedicate a big round of applause to the guy that made all this happen. Big hand to Sune. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Per, and everybody. So if you could please talk to your friends who might be interested and excited about hardware and how that might already be something that people are dealing with, or it might be something that people will be dealing with in the future. Of course, the reason why we're here is because we think hardware is exciting, and we're trying to organize our events in a way that it appeals to many different types of people, both very broadly and also whether you have not started working with it yet or whether you're already an expert. So hopefully, see you again next month. Thank you. Yeah.